Most people grow up believing that kindness is one of the most important traits a person can have. They're taught that being polite, understanding, and agreeable will make life smoother. That if they treat others well, others will naturally return the favor. And early on, that belief seems to hold up. People smile when you speak. They describe you as easygoing. They say you're reliable, supportive, and pleasant to be around. You become the person people feel comfortable with, the person who listens, the person who understands. But slowly, something begins to change. It doesn't happen through confrontation. It doesn't arrive with warning signs. It shows up in small moments that are easy to dismiss. Someone interrupts you, and you let it go. Someone ignores your message, and you make excuses for them. Someone crosses a line, and you tell yourself it wasn't worth addressing. You don't want to seem dramatic. You don't want to cause tension. You don't want to be seen as difficult. So you stay quiet. And over time, those small moments add up. You notice people listening less closely when you speak. You notice your opinions being brushed aside. You notice jokes being made at your expense, framed as humor, but carrying an edge. And one day, you realize something has changed in the way people treat you. You've lost respect. Not because you did something wrong, not because you lack value, but because kindness without boundaries sends the wrong signal. This is the part no one explains. Human beings don't only respond to kindness. They respond to structure, clarity, and limits. When someone is kind and grounded, people feel safe around them. When someone is kind but undefined, people test them. Not consciously, not maliciously, instinctively. The human brain is always scanning for boundaries. It's how we understand our place in social hierarchies. It's how we learn what behavior is acceptable. And when no boundary appears, behavior expands. That's how disrespect begins. It doesn't begin with cruelty. It begins with comfort. Someone feels comfortable canceling on you last minute. Comfortable speaking over you. Comfortable assuming you'll be okay with whatever they decide. And if you don't respond, the brain registers approval. Once is accidental. Twice is informational. 3 times becomes the rule. This is how roles are formed. Not by intention, but by repetition. Nice people often believe they are being patient or understanding. But patience without limits becomes self-erasure. They start explaining themselves too much. They apologize for things they didn't cause. They soften their needs to avoid conflict. And each time they do this, they reinforce a quiet message. My needs are flexible. My discomfort is negotiable. Your comfort matters more than mine. No one says this out loud, but everyone feels it. And behavior follows feeling. Over time, people begin to take more than they give. They lean on you emotionally, but don't show up when you need support. They expect your time, your energy, your empathy, without offering the same in return. You become useful, but not valued. Available, but not respected. And that's one of the most painful positions a person can be in. Because you weren't trying to manipulate anyone. You weren't trying to gain something. You were trying to be good. There's a deep confusion in modern culture between kindness and self-sacrifice. Kindness is a choice. Self-sacrifice becomes a reflex. A kind person chooses when and how to help. A self-sacrificing person helps automatically, even when it hurts them. A kind person can say no without guilt. A self-sacrificing person feels anxious even thinking about it. People don't lose respect for kindness. They lose respect for people who don't respect themselves. Not because they want to, but because respect is wired to strength, clarity, and self-trust. This is why being too nice has social consequences. You're invited less, consulted less, taken seriously less. Your presence becomes optional. Your absence barely noticed. And when you finally reach a breaking point and speak up, the reaction can be shocking. People say you've changed. They say you're being selfish. They say you're not the same person anymore. But what they really mean is that the old dynamic no longer works for them. You've disrupted their comfort. And disruption always feels like aggression to people who benefited from your silence. Setting boundaries feels uncomfortable at first because it goes against conditioning. Most people are conditioned to associate approval with safety. So when approval drops, the nervous system reacts. Your heart races. You replay conversations in your head. You wonder if you were too harsh. But discomfort isn't danger. It's unfamiliarity. You're teaching your brain a new pattern. The people who truly respect you will adapt. They may be surprised, but they adjust. The people who don't were never attached to you, only to what you provided. This is one of the hardest truths to accept. Some people are in your life because you make it easier for them, not because they care about you. And when you stop making their life easier at your expense, they leave. That loss can hurt, but it also creates space. Space for relationships that are mutual. Space for respect that doesn't have to be earned through exhaustion. Being respected doesn't require dominance. It doesn't require aggression or cruelty. It requires clarity. Saying less, not more. Explaining less, not more. Letting your no stand without justification. Confidence doesn't argue. It doesn't over-explain. It doesn't chase understanding. It states, and it stands. When your words match your actions, people listen. When your boundaries are consistent, people adapt. When your yes becomes selective, it becomes meaningful. Kindness becomes powerful when it's backed by self-respect. You don't need to become colder. You don't need to stop caring. You need to stop abandoning yourself to keep others comfortable. Because the moment you respect yourself, others are forced to choose. They rise to meet you, or they remove themselves. And either outcome protects your peace. If this feels personal, it's because you've lived it. You've felt the slow erosion. You've wondered when things changed. You're not weak. You're not naive. You are operating with incomplete information. And once you see how respect actually works, you can rebuild everything on stronger ground. Not by being less kind, but by being whole.